Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to this presentation on our DAC6 IT solutions, DAC6Connect. Let's start by giving you a brief outline of what DAC6Connect is. DAC6Connect is a web application whose purpose is to identify transactions likely to be reported within the framework of the DAC6 directive, to help taxpayers and intermediaries comply with their DAC6 reporting obligations by allowing them to individually assess whether a cross-border arrangement is reportable and, where applicable, to allocate the reporting obligation onto one designated intermediary. DAC6Connect has been designed with the aim of reducing the risk of failure to report, incorrect or double reporting, taxpayers' disruption or reputation, all of this in a very cost-efficient way. The development of this tool is the direct result of the combined work performed by our tax teams with their deep expertise on DAC6 across all jurisdictions impacted by the legislation, and ATOZ Digital Solutions, our affiliated firm specialized in software engineering. DAC6Connect obviously integrates a decision tree which is jurisdiction specific, but it also has a collaborative feature which we believe is key, connecting relevant stakeholders involved in a given transaction. This collaborative feature is the answer to two important elements emerging from the directive. Ensure appropriate reporting with no risk of over-reporting, and if more than one intermediary is involved and concludes that an arrangement is reportable, that only one filing of the same arrangement is submitted. DAC6Connect was built around our conviction that seamless coordination and communication amongst taxpayers and intermediaries are key to managing DAC6 obligations successfully. An additional key strength of DAC6Connect is its open architecture. It allows customers to integrate their data with third-party software, including business applications or ERPs, using our DAC6Connect API. Transactions and arrangements can therefore be easily synchronized thanks to our fully documented API, avoiding double input and gaining in efficiency. Now that I have outlined the key features of DAC6Connect, let me show you its look and feel, and more fundamentally, how it can help you in your day-to-day work. So when you land on the transaction web page, the aim is then to create a new transaction. You're then directed onto that create new transaction where you can enter the name of the transaction, the start date, which will be critical in order for you to assess the 30-day legal deadline, then the currency of the transaction, as well as its value, which may be part of the reporting should the end conclusion be that the arrangement is a reportable one. Then you're directed to the selection of the intermediary, whether it's a main intermediary or an ancillary intermediary, and you can even elect to be the beneficiary, i.e. the taxpayer. You're then directed onto a description log where you can enter a brief description of the transaction at hand. You will then be directed to the intermediary webpage, where you can add all the intermediaries that are part of the arrangement. Here you will need to reference the name of the intermediary together with the country where it is resident, which is fundamental for that intermediary to be directed to the relevant country-specific environment for the DAC6 analysis. Then you will be prompted to determine whether that intermediary is a main intermediary, an ancillary intermediary, or a beneficiary. Then you'll need to enter the contact detail of that intermediary for that specific person to be invited to collaborate in the environment for the very purpose of the transaction at hand. So you can add all the intermediaries so that everyone will be invited to collaborate in a single environment, thereby leading to a critical element of DAC6, which is only one single reporting per reportable cross-border arrangement. Then each intermediary will be invited to fill in the questionnaire from its local law perspective. So here we'll go through each and every item of the analysis. First of all, whether it's an arrangement. Second, whether it's a cross-border arrangement. Third, which hallmarks are identified, potentially subject to the main benefit test. Then, insofar as the main benefit test is concerned, you can either say it is subject to the main benefit test or not, and in which case the application will guide you through all the different questions in order for you to assess whether the main benefit test is satisfied. What we have embedded in the application is a tool to assist you to determine whether the main benefit test is satisfied by having a scoring of whether or not this is the case. Notwithstanding this, you have the ability to confirm whether or not the main benefit test is satisfied from your specific perspective. Thereafter, you'll have the ability to give further and more detailed explanation as to why you consider the main benefit test to be positive. Subsequent to that, and assuming the arrangement is a reportable arrangement, you will then be directed to the report section. First of all, you will need to apply to act as a reporting intermediary, or at least be a candidate to be a reporting intermediary. Because again, the objective of the application is to ensure that there is only one reporting intermediary with a view to minimize over-reporting, double reporting, and over-disclosure of information. In this section, you'll have the ability to confirm the candidacy of an intermediary in order to act as a reporting intermediary, which is shown here by changing of status to reporting intermediary. Once an intermediary has been designated as a reporting intermediary, that intermediary will have the sole responsibility of performing the report within the application. For the time being, the relevant forms haven't been issued by the relevant tax authorities. But once that's done, this will be an integral part of the application. If you wish to know more about this application, please visit www.DAC6Connect.com.